I built a robot dog with 5 legs, and this is how. I'm gonna have to give it a second. It's still like on screen. It's like walking a little bit. It really doesn't walk that fast. I'll get like into that part later. I'll cut this when like it gets off screen. It's still there. Oh, it's almost there. It's like it's edging me. Like it's trying. So ever since I saw the first Boston Dynamics robot, I always thought they were like really cool. And honestly, the thing that like fascinated me the most is the way they were built. I've always, when I first look at something, I try to like realize how it works and like how I can make that myself. I know most people probably look and be like, wow, that's really cool, but no. Whenever I look at anything, I always like kind of try to see how it's built and how it works. I've always been like that since a kid. So yeah, I really wanted to build my own. I stole my mom's credit card and bought a couple servos, and honestly, I just started. I had no experience. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no sort of rubric. I just wanted to build something that could walk and look cool. And I'm really glad I went through with it. So before I actually made any of the actual robot dog, I decided to try to make like the version of the actual leg I would make out of popsicle sticks. That was just so before I actually 3D modeled it, I could just make sure it worked. I'm really glad I did this because I have no idea what I'm doing here. Eventually, I did have to take like a little bit of inspiration off the internet of how to actually make a working robot leg. This was just a complete disaster. This was how it worked. It went, oh, nope, that's for later. That's not what we're trying to look at right now. Anyway, so this is how it moved. It didn't really work that well, and I don't really know what I was trying to do. I'm very glad I never actually finished it because I don't know where that would have gone. This is me actually building the leg for the first time. So at first I just made kind of an insert for the servo. This is the first time I actually like built the leg. It was in my kitchen because I need like a hard surface. I need a soldering iron, we'll get to that later. This is my first actual test. It goes up and down, that's all I really decided to do for now, and it works, so let's keep going. Alright, so I'll start off with just the pieces. That right there is what holds the servo. That's like the bottom part of the leg. That right there is this thing that holds the carbon fiber that like moves the actual leg. That's a hinge that I put onto the servo that's on the thigh. I don't know what I'm doing. I think I'm trying to zoom in. It's not working. These are the caps just so nothing really gets loose. Those are the servos. They're MG90s, I believe. And that right there is what I use to actually cut the carbon fiber rods. That's my saw. This is how I measure how long I want it to be. So I have some calipers there and then basically set it up to the right dimension. So once I have it clamped into the right length, I just have to cut it with a saw and it comes out really nice, honestly. This is a little montage of me building the leg and then the robot. If I want to just cut everything else, here's the time right here, just skip to this. Other than that, this is just gonna be like a minute or two of me just building it. This is the dog's motion without being on the ground. So you can kind of see how the legs go back and forth. So right after it was completed, I tried to get it to walk. Some of them were kind of okay. The main issue I had is that since there's so much weight in the back, what would happen is that the back servos would move, but because there was a lot of play in the back legs, it just wouldn't lift the robot. You can kind of see that in some of these ones right now. But then after that, I actually got a really solid one, which is this one right here. Alright, so at some point, this project got so annoying that I wanted to give up. But it kind of works now. If it doesn't, I think I'm done. So here it is. Obviously not done, but
It's walking. It's actually walking.
I was indeed not done. Not even close. So I don't want to bore anybody with the code, so everything here is going to be in 4 times speed. In 3, 2, 1. Second note, that doesn't really sound like much of a good idea. So if you do anything here, any of like the files or the code or any of that stuff, it's all going to be in Google Drive in the description. Basically, this is just a triangle. This right here is one part of the leg. This is the other part. And what I basically do is I give my program C, which is what this length is going to be, hypotenuse. And what it gives me is this angle right here. So this angle is called theta. That is the angle that it will basically move for me. All I have to give it is C, which is right here. So this is C for the back left leg. I want it to be 90 millimeters, which was the red line. Then it takes that right there and it does this trigonometry, which gives me the answer in radians. Then it turns that into degrees using this right here. Then it basically maps it to PWM signals and then sends it to the servo. That's about it. So at this point, I've watched a lot of videos on, just random robot dogs, and something all had were like feet that were made of rubber, or like some type of something that would kind of make it stay. So I tried to make it out of erasers. It didn't work the best. I kind of dropped it, but this is just me building it. It was pretty fun. I got the idea from, I think it's Mech Musa. He made a great video on building a robot dog, and it really inspired me to make it my own, to be honest. And this is it walking with it. I eventually just ended up ditching it, so. Alright, so I've been working on this for like the past 8 hours. It's currently 4 a.m. and I got it to work before, but now after I added these, I don't know what happened, but now it's doing this weird crawl thing. So I take it, I put it down, and it's just doing this. Like it's moving, but it's moving really slow. So I think for tomorrow, the plan is honestly, I know I was gonna try to make it turn with this mode right here, but I don't think that's gonna work anymore. So I'm gonna get some sleep, wake up tomorrow, get rid of that, and just try to make it later. Good night. So the next morning I woke up and I got onto Fusion 360, which is what I use to make all of my 3D models. I got rid of the servo I had in there and I made this new part that bridges the front and the back body, because before it was basically 2 bodies that were connected. Not always like that anymore because I had to connect them using just a regular 3D print part. So I made that, test fitted it, and here's the entire journey. Time you say carbon fiber rod.
I'll give you an
Alright, bet.
Alright, so because of all the skipping, I decided to use carbon fiber rod. The place might seem kind of suspicious, but let me cook. Give me a sec. Let me cook. Alright, so I've added this 5th leg right here. Basically what it does is when the robot in the back, because of how heavy it is up here, because of how low it gets, it makes sure it can't go really low. It basically stops it. I kind of just added some holes in here. It was more just so I can fit like these, the top and this bottom part together, but I just used it for this instead. I 3D printed this small kind of foot for it, and it works a lot better.
It works. It's actually working. Let's go. So I think this is probably the best I'm gonna be able to let it walk. I've spent way too many nights until 5 a.m. trying to figure it out. Basically in the end, these feet I had a montage for, they don't actually work. It's actually better to just use these because they're kind of pointy. So that's been it.
So what are some next steps and things I'd do differently? Well, first of all, I do need to give it a name. I'm gonna procrastinate and do that when I make version 2. Number 2, I also need to make a version that can turn. I'll do that in the next version. Right now, I just wanted to get this done with because it's taking so long. And I have other projects I want to do as well. But honestly, next time I'll probably have hip joints, so it's like a normal robot, and hopefully that'll work. I also want to make my own actuators using brushless motors and a gear reduction. I don't really know what those words mean and what they do, but I'm gonna do that one day. But for now, I got university coming up, so I'm gonna have to focus on that.